Amy, Denise, Priscilla, we all know each other, right? So there's somebody here in our room that you guys might not know. And let me move this chair because that's kind of blocking our view.
Yeah.
So our speaker that has our guest top or our topic today, Josh, why don't we say hello to you and tell us who you are?
Sure. My name is Josh Huddy. I'm the executive director at the South Central Literacy Council, which is previously known as the Simpson County Literacy Center. And so I've been there since the end of February, not very long, coming up on, I guess, 5 months at the end of this month, maybe. So feels like 5 days based on how much I've been able to get done. So
Yeah. Well, I'll let the Zoomies go before the roomies. So let me tag Amy Smith Thomas if she can talk and introduce herself.
Hello, hold on, let me get my camera on. I just left one meeting, Shane and I did, and now we're on another one. I'm Amy Smith Thomas. I am the adult ed teacher here in Butler County. I teach, of course, students that come into my office. I also teach Kentucky Christian Recovery Fellows. I go to our jail and teach there, and I'm also the college and career navigator for Butler County. Thank you.
And you carry one other title these days, Amy. You're a South Central Workforce Development Board card-carrying board member.
I am, and I love that group and this group, which is about the same group.
Unfortunately. Okay, Priscilla, I'll let you go next.
Priscilla Schwartz with Passport by Molina Healthcare. We're one of the MCOs for the state. So good to be with you all today.
And she is a recovering adult ed director. Previously, yes. I'm in that category as well. All right, Matt, we'll let you go next. Matt, are you able to unmute and introduce yourself?
Where's the bacon?
Oh. Okay, we'll go to Denise.
Good morning, this is Denise from Logan County Good Samaritan. I may be in and out of the meeting some as we've got a lot going on this morning, and you can hear my daughter in the background making noise. So, but I will be in here as much as I can.
All right, glad to have you. And then we also have Mike Carter with CDO. Mike, if you're able to unmute and introduce yourself.
Sorry about that. I'm Mike Carter. I'm the Regional Program Manager for the Career Development Office in Bowling Green and Somerset areas.
Okay, and now we'll just let the people in the room go around and introduce themselves, starting with Jessica.
Jessica Calvert with the Workforce Board.
Shannon Gotke, Career Team.
Frank Garabata, the one-stop operator.
John Swords, President, CEO, South Central Workforce Development Board.
Brett Faust, Outreach Counselor for Veterans Upward Bound.
Laura Torres, the Refugee Employer Engagement Program Specialist.
And Brian. So, all right. So this is the part where we share news and updates, announcements. Does anybody have anything they want to share in the room or joining online that they want to let the partners know about?
we may have a job opening. We posted a job opening, but there's a possibility that actually our employee might stay with the changes that we're making to the role. So after I speak to her this afternoon, if it is still open, I will send out that link. And you can share it with people. It will be a part-time role that is flex hours and hybrid, mostly remote, 1 day a week in the office. And so it's a very flexible work opportunity.
Anybody else?
I have
was-
something.
I was just gonna mention that this month is the first, on the 19th of June, the One Stop Comprehensive Center on Chestnut Street and the One Stop Affiliate Center, the OVR Center on Fairview, will be closed in observance of Juneteenth. That's first.
Same with the Workforce Board office.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. That's a good
We had-
announcement.
I have something.
Okay,
We had our Pudding Kentuckians first Tuesday and it was a packed house. Shannon knows that. We helped a lot of people and I think one guy already has a job and Shannon was talking to us about that during our meeting this morning. So it went really well Tuesday.
that's great. Yeah, I think I'd keep that as a solid part of the announcements here. So we're still at the 4 counties on a rotating basis there, but predictably, so that you can see no matter what the date of the month is, it's always going to be the first or the second of a day of the month that we will be set up. There's a little bit of an adjustment for the Barron County one because of the summer operating hours at Sky CTC. So, okay. Anybody else? So I was going to let Leslie share the screen. I know she's traveling, but we did have our first regional high school hiring event called Ready, Set, Hire that happened a month ago at the Cave Area Conference Center. So another organization that's gone through a rebranding and a name change, but everybody knows it as the Cave City Convention Center. So it ended up being 8 participating high schools. There was 12 originally and 1 never really confirmed with us. So we thought maybe 11 and then they started dropping a little bit closer to the event. It was a tough time of the year. But the goal of the event was, I mean, it came from, Whitney kind of had the idea. She wanted to organize in Hart County her own, and then she just kind of opened it up to her colleagues. And we definitely wanted to come alongside as an organization and see how we could support it. But the idea was that the students that most wanted to go to work, whether it was part-time or full-time, and looking for job opportunities, could be bussed over to sort of a central spot among these participating schools. And so you can see at the top here, Grayson County, that's a school district that we normally never do anything with because Grayson's not in our service area, but it was open to other school districts that also neighbored our northern counties. And so we were glad to have their participation as well. So, and then it was open to the public. John, do you know the number of people that ended up coming off the top?
I know we had 121 students
Okay.
that were high school students that were there, and then I want to say 35-ish plus or minus adults that came in for the afternoon portion.
Yeah. And of course, how many people got hired? We'd like to know that answer too. That's always the toughest thing to figure out after a job fair. However, we know that we'll have a new position that will be probably starting, we'll be starting in July that'll be focused on youth. And so we expect for that position to be targeting the folks that came to this event and do some follow-up because we have their phone numbers and their personal email addresses. So they created profiles and this website is still live. So if you go to employword.com, so you can see on the screen here how to spell employword because we made that word up. And then just put a .com after it and it's totally dedicated to this event right now. So there's still some high school seniors that should be up there, but our goal was to take them off if they got a job or to keep them up if they were still open. And I think we're still in progress on some of that. So another announcement we have is we have a new team member, Isa, and I'll let him introduce himself. And you have a microphone right there. for everybody.
Hi everyone, I'm Isa and I'm Refugee Connect training, so I'm new for the team, and also this is my 4th week, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm new and I'm learning every day. I'm connecting with people, with resources, with local organizations. So I'm trying to learn from my new position and try to get more information for all kinds of resources. Yeah.
Yep. So we're excited to have him. So we started a new grant that we got that for anybody that knows what Heath Ray does, it serves the same audience. And actually Laura's grant serves the same audience, but it's refugees that have lived here for less than 5 years, asylees, humanitarian parolees, there's different categories, but he can show them career opportunities and try to enroll them in existing credential bearing training opportunities, very similar to what we do in WIOA. We also have scholarship dollars for CDL that we set up to associate with it. So he's going to be our loudspeaker to that audience to avail of the services and programs. And there'll be a specialized adult ed class that'll be turned on with Warren County Adult Ed at Sky CTC. That'll be a career specific class to prep people and even support them while they're in the training. That should be going on later by later this summer too. So hopefully here in the next month, actually. Got to get somebody hired for that too, so. All right, well, if anybody doesn't have anything else, we'll dive into our topic. Last call for any other announcements. All right, so Josh, we'll turn it over to you and I'll be.
All right, I'll just be telling you next, right? That
Yes,
sounds good. Well, all right. Well, today, guys, I'm going to talk to you about the South Central Literacy Council. I'm going to talk to you about what we do and hopefully clarify some things. There are a lot of questions that I get, especially with people who know what adult ed does. And they look at us and are like, don't you guys do the same thing that adult ed does? And so hopefully be able to clarify some of that, clarify questions around our rebranding, everything like that. So Brian, if you want to go to the next slide here, I think it is always helpful to at least get to know the person that is talking to you very briefly. My name is Josh Huddy, for those of you who weren't in here when I was first introducing myself. I'm the Executive Director of the South Central Literacy Council. It used to be called the Simpson County Literacy Center. That building still exists, and I'll talk about that in a bit. I'm from Hawesville, Kentucky, which is a very small town up near Owensboro. If you know where Hawesville is, then are part of a small group of people in the state, I think. It's very very little. It's north, yeah. That's right. It's a little wide spot in the road, about 1,000 people now, 2 stoplights type town. So I have a family of beautiful women. My wife, I have 3 daughters. And I studied civil engineering at UK. I am not doing that right now, surprisingly. I have a quite varied career that if I started talking about that, then it would take up all of our time. So I'm not going to talk about that. I will tell you, I have a lot, and I mean a lot, of hobbies and interests, like way too many. I almost guarantee you I am the nerdiest person that you know. If it is a nerdy hobby, I like it and probably know a lot about it. So after the presentation, if you want to get to know me more, or if you want to get me on a roll talking and just nonstop going, ask me about any of these things. D&D, AI, I love talking about AI. I mean, just spreadsheets, backpacking, any of that stuff on that list. If you see it, you can probably ask me about it. You can text me about it. I will be your forever friend talking about those types of topics. But Brian, if you want to go to the next one. Well, what I'm going to talk to you about today, though, is specifically about who we are. First, it's easy for us to start with just our mission statement. Our current mission statement is that we empower the lives of those in our communities by providing adult basic education services. Now, our mission is very likely getting ready to change its wording in about a month. We just did a mission and visioning workshop with a partial membership of our board yesterday. We anticipate that with maybe some minor changes to wording, that will probably just pass at the board meeting on July 8th. The mission will be pretty similar. It will just be maybe a little more clear. Essentially, we'll say something along the lines of, if I remember it from yesterday, it would say that we provide essential literacy opportunities through one-on-one and small group settings to enrich the lives of adults and the community that we serve. So that's a little bit more clear about the what that we are doing. Our vision statement for this grand vision of like what we can become, I'm very, very excited for. I got our board yesterday, or that small group of them, they got talking and got to really dream and imagine what the Literacy Council could be. And it was really, really neat and very encouraging, really, to hear what their ideas for the organization could be moving forward. One of the most interesting things that came from that meeting is that there is a consistent and impassioned view that the Literacy Council, and especially that Simpson County Literacy Center, should become essentially an educational hub and a space for community to be created around our students and our volunteers. So they were like, hey, it's kind of drab in here. We should like spruce this thing up so people want to spend time in here. They could come similar to kind of how a library is, where it's like, you can just come, you can, use some of our resources, but it's a place where people are joined together in this, common mission. And especially because we offer a lot of language, learning services, it offers an opportunity for people to come in and just speak informally in a conversational way with whoever might be there, whether it's our staff, whether it's volunteers who might be there, or other students. And so that was a really neat part of the vision. That is not something that I would say that we currently are set up to do. It's something that we would never turn somebody away if they walked in. They're like, "Can I just hang out?" They're like, "Yeah, of course." But that's really something that they want to really envision moving forward. So I'm excited about that. Brian, if you want to move to the next one. So one big question that a lot of people have is they're like, "Oh, well, who are you?" Why did you, I know who the literacy center is. Did that close? No. It was really just a rebranding approach. This was decided at the first board meeting that I was a part of. I kind of talked to the board members and I said, "Hey, look, our financial situation is one that we need to be looking at, contributions from revenue sources outside of the county. We already do get revenue from contributions of individuals outside of the county, but it is easier for us to reach new board members and reach new potential supporters by making sure that there is clarity around who we serve. We already were serving more than just Simpson County residents. We were serving people from all of the surrounding counties, Allen, Logan, Warren. We were also reaching people, a pretty good amount of students from Tennessee. So we're serving students who aren't even in the state of Kentucky. That is one of the unique things about who we are, because we're a standalone 501c3 that's charitably supported. We have a little bit more freedom in terms of who we serve and who we support. We don't require any type of specific ID that says where you live in order to get services. If you come in, you say you want services, we'll walk through an opportunity where you will sit down, you'll talk to us about your learning goals, we'll develop curriculum specific to meet those goals, and then we pair you up with one-on-one tutoring or small group tutoring in the case. Small group is pretty much only for English language learners, but so that's the rebranding approach. So if you go to the next slide here, what we did was we basically just changed our name, and with that name change came a branding change. So if you see any of these logos here, that's who we are. Now, the headquarters of the South Central Literacy Council is still called the Simpson County Literacy Center. You can kind of think of it as the center is the building, right? That's one nice thing about the way that we rebranded is we didn't have to change everything. Anything that said Simpson County Literacy Center, for the most part, as long as it's directing people to Simpson County, it still could be that. But this opened up the opportunity for us to reach some new people on our board, which we're excited about. We've got a few people from the Bowling Green area that have stepped on, someone who lives in Allen County that stepped on. But also it allows us to kind of differentiate the idea that we do have services at the center, but we provide services that are not just at the Simpson County Literacy Center. So we provide distance learning opportunities where we can, do one-on-one tutoring with people over, it's not Zoom, it's Google Meets for us, Google Hangouts. And so we have those opportunities. We're also in the works of partnering with other organizations, especially like in the Bowling Green area, just because the population is so large, to provide instruction for their services that maybe don't have instructors. And so that's something that we're also excited about. You can go to the next slide. We have a new website. You guys can check that out. This is the donation page. This is the most important page for me to point out. If you guys like what we do, go there, scliteracy.org/donate. All right, Brian, you can go to the next one here.
I don't want to pause for everybody to take a
Yeah, everybody just go ahead, just type that into your phone. We do take PayPal and Venmo. It's very easy to donate. Yeah, I'm going to talk to you today, though, about our programs specifically. There are three main focuses when it comes to our programs. We're maintaining some of them, we're reviving one of them, and we're creating one new one, essentially. I'm going to talk to you about our adult basic literacy. I'm going to talk to you about our ESL programs. I'm going to talk to you about our high school equivalency. I'm going to talk to you about Stories from the Heart program. and then a new program called Moms Moving Forward. So let's start out by talking about adult basic literacy. This is really the core of why we were founded. When we started as a literacy center back in the 80s, this was really common. This was before any of the adult eds were really around. It was understood that there was a big literacy problem that we needed to solve. You know, there were a lot of adults who couldn't read, who didn't have basic numeracy skills, things like that. So that's where it started, and we still do that today. We offer this adult basic literacy through exclusively a one-on-one tutoring model. Someone comes in, they need help with reading, or they need help with, you know, they need help with their numeracy skills, whatever that may be. That one-on-one model allows us to meet them where they are. We also have customized curriculum. Some of the curriculum that we use is standardized. Like we've got one of our learners who's using YouFly curriculum for her phonics. We've got others where, you know, the curriculum is built every single, you know, they're coming in every Thursday, and that lesson plan is created in-house for them to meet what they need. We do standardized assessments through CASAS for the literacy program, but that's kind of what we do from the adult basic literacy program. Brian, you can go to the next one. Our ESL programs, we offer these two different ways. We have a one-on-one model. So if someone comes in and they say, I want English language instruction, we offer a one-on-one model where we will pair you up with a tutor. We do have an on-site certified instructor in adult education. And so Carrie is the one who's building a lot of our curriculum. She does a lot of these one-on-ones. She actually does the instruction, but we also have those instructors. The one-on-ones are sometimes paired up with volunteers as well. So the ESL programs, that will be an opportunity for people to come in. They really outline what it is that they hope to accomplish with their English skills. So they might say, hey, the main thing that I want to be able to do is like read to my kids in English so that they can be set up for better success in school. It's like, cool, that's what we're going to focus on. Or they might say, all I care about is I want to get my driver's license. Say, all right, well, we're going to help you walk through, the curriculum is built for this specific thing. If it falls under what we would classify as essential literacy skills, we want to help people with it. We also do have weekly group conversational classes. These do have a curriculum, so they are structured classes, but they're open. You don't have to sign up for them. You just show up. We have those on Tuesday mornings and Tuesday evenings. And that is an opportunity for people to just come and get English practice. Now, everything that we do when it comes to ESL is immersion. So we don't have translators. We don't have none of that stuff. It is in English, but it is very slow. It's very methodical, and because it doesn't require any of the registrations, it's very easy for people to get access to. You can go to the next one there, Brian. High school equivalency and beyond, we do offer the GED and HiSET testing that we actually get our testing through adult ed, but we will help people through that program as far as, the practice that needs to go into that, the instruction that needs to go into that, helping people get through that. That's a thing that we offer as well in our visioning and mission workshop yesterday. I do see that our high school equivalency examinations might take kind of a backseat. We'll still probably offer them, but it won't be something that we'll focus on. But offering that instruction for people who want to get their GED will probably still be a big focus of ours. Digital literacy is something that we used to do a lot more. We haven't done recently, but again, we'll probably start back up with that. This is very basic digital literacy skills, how to use a computer, how to use a basic operating system, the very, very basics of word processing and spreadsheets. We also help people use their phones. People will come in and they'll just say, hey, walk me through how to use my phone to do different things. That's actually probably the focus that we'll take as we kind of expand that digital literacy moving forward. We know that today, everything that we're doing it on our phones. We are doing things through mobile. That will also probably, though I have talked to Carrie about this specifically, that will probably need to have a lot of instruction around LLMs and AI integration, because whether you like it or not, it will be a very large part of our lives moving forward. The big thing about all of these is that they are customized learning goals and curriculum. So when someone comes in, they tell us what they want to achieve, and we develop those learning goals and that curriculum, the assessments if necessary, but we develop those things to meet those needs. And so that is really what we do there. Yeah.
Question. So when you do your customized learning goals, if someone, so for instance, you can identify through your assessments and your intakes, if someone has a learning disability, whether it's dyslexia, whatever. And so you guys have the availability or the capability of designing those to help. And I'm just curious.
We do not have a certified special education instructor on staff. That is actually one of the challenges that we would be very open to talking to other people about. Is it's pretty easy for us to identify when we know someone has learning disability, which actually is pretty frequent. But figuring out exactly how to give them the services that they need without necessarily just being like, well, we can't help you. That's the challenging part.
Well, no, you don't want to let anybody walk away.
Exactly.
But help them. Absolutely. I was just curious.
Yeah, we
we work with veterans and identify things, and you're like, and then you have to, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because this is a great program.
Thank you. Yeah, so you can move to the next one here, Brian. This one is a revival story. We had this before. COVID killed it. We are bringing it back. Stories from the Heart program. Basically what this was is we provided books for inmates to read. They recorded those stories. We mailed the recordings and the books to their children. It is to promote literacy for adults who are incarcerated, but also do this opportunity for kids to hear their parents' voices and things like that. We are starting that back up. It is operationally significantly more efficient than it was now, and we already have the Simpson County Detention Center and Warren County Regional Jail are already on board. Like, we're in the process. They are, like, we've gotten a check from one of them already for some of this support. What's happening is, instead, we used to take a tote full of books, and we would take that, they would pick from these books, they'd read them, then we'd take the tote back and we'd mail the books. Well, now there's a library of 70 books that the detention centers own. Their inmates can pick them out. They record it on a recorder that we get, and we just go and we pick up the SD cards from those recordings. We have those same books back at the office, and we mail the copy that isn't theirs to the kid with a sticker on the inside that's got a very short message from parents, talks about, tells the book, and then with a download link for that MP3 where they can download it and they can have it forever. And so that's the way that we're going about that. We also, on the sign up sheet to check out the book, we have a place where an inmate can request literacy, tutoring. That is right now something that if we have people who need that tutoring services, we actually have to individually schedule that, find the volunteers or get the staffing and things like that. But that is the way that we're going about that. It was a very beloved program in Simpson County. I'm extremely excited to open that up to the Warren County area. I think that people see this program and they think like, this is excellent. This tugs at your heartstrings. And so we want to be able to do that, but it was very operationally restrictive. And I think we're making it a lot more efficient for everybody involved. So you can go to the next one. The next one, this is the program's called Moms Moving Forward. It is basically our distance learning program that is on kind of a marketing push. So we have always offered distance learning, but we've never really promoted it. So this is an opportunity for us to really promote it, but to promote it to a targeted group, and that would be mothers of young children. We know the research shows us that the biggest impact on a child's literacy success in school is their mother's literacy level. So we know that. So we want to be able to address the mother's literacy level, which will help impact their child. So basically what we're doing is that a lot of moms are stay-at-home moms who have other kids at home. They can't come to Simpson County to the center to do this. So we've got these distance learning programs, but also the metrics are really thoughtful. We are asking them when they start, what level are your kids at in these areas? Like, if you want to share the report card with us, and then we're tracking the metrics of their kids along with the metrics of the mother's success. Now, this program, technically, its marketing is targeting moms, right? Like if we put up Facebook ads, that's the demographic we're targeting. But this truly is just an expansion of a digital learning program, distance learning. So that is an option available for everyone, moms, dads, people who don't have kids, everything, as long as you're an adult.
Quick question. How many enrolled?
Well, this is brand new. So yeah, right now, we haven't even started the marketing dollars for this. So this is this is something that we just started probably, I guess, a month ago in terms of the planning. So we haven't even started the marketing dollars.
And
We
I
would
would-
love to enroll as many as you want to send us.
I would tell you, reach out to WBKO and WNKY. The NKY definitely will be
Okay.
at the door the next day after you call them.
Perfect. All right. Well, that sounds
They
good.
cover a lot of these kind of stories.
Excellent.
Yeah.
When you, on your metrics, are you collecting demographic data, education levels, race?
Yeah, we are.
Working or not working?
Yeah, we're collecting all that data. So we are part of what's called Pro Literacy, which is the Association of Literacy Councils, right? So it's the national association of all the different literacy councils. They have something called a Pro Literacy Report that gets sent to them every year where they group all those metrics together. Their report changes each year, which is a little annoying, but in terms of what they ask for, it seems to be mostly expanding. Some things drop off and stuff. So we try to track as much as we can, mostly for that report, to be able to give that report to them, but also our metrics have really broadened and increased in terms of what we're collecting since I got there. But that's probably just the engineer in me. I like data and I want us to track it. If you're not measuring it, it's not real, right? So that's that program. Brian, oh man, I'm pretty good on time, I think.
We expect people that walk by the Career Center outside the door, right? Come in and ask for directions.
Yeah. You can move to the next one.
How many people did we have smoking in the parking lot? Track that too, right?
Yeah, so you can go to the next slide here. Our impact by the numbers, there's 23% of adults just in Simpson County. Well, actually, it's the average between the 4-county region is 22.1%. Have low literacy skills, and that was from PIOC data. That was from 2019. That amounts to 3,500 people just in Simpson County. So if you go to the next slide, it's even higher. 34% of our adults are considered low numeracy skills. So low literacy and low numeracy, these are kind of hard to define because they are, most of the time we want to think of it as a grade level, right? This is roughly like the literacy you start to be considered low literacy below 6th grade. Functional illiteracy starts to be around 3rd grade, and then like you drop off from there. But so the numbers are pretty staggering how high that is. You go to the next slide. These are just our metrics, 3 full-time staff. We have about 1,400 student hours, 148 students served this past year. We have 8 regular volunteers and 200 plus volunteer hours. Next one. And then the next slide here. The best way that you can support the Literacy Council is to come as a volunteer, give financially, and tell people about what we do. Right now, our biggest challenges besides funding sustainability really is we have capacity for students. We want more students. So we're trying to partner with organizations. I'm trying to partner with people like the library here and, the Refuge Bowling Green and people like that. We're trying to partner with groups like that who say, we have students, but we don't have instructors. Like, great, we have instructors and we want more students. So tell people we are open to partnerships. There is some specifics around mission drift that gets a little tougher when you start talking about workforce development. That gets more challenging because our true basic thing is essential literacy skills, how to read, how to write, and things like that. But we are very open to discussions and talking about that. And so that is how you can support us. And so I think the next slide maybe is questions. Oh, wait, this is an important one. We are having a spelling bee this coming Friday. No, sorry, the 14th. So it's a week from tomorrow. This spelling bee, the words are not real. The definitions are made up, and it is just for fun. It does not cost any money to join. It happens right before the concert on the square in Franklin. We desperately need contestants because it's going to be embarrassing if you're a contestant because these words are very hard. Like everybody's gonna know. It's like, I am making a fool of myself. That's the point. But it's gonna be more embarrassing for us if no one shows up. So please show up. We need contestants desperately. It is free. We would, there is gonna be a trophy.
If it's made up, and who's the judge? How do you get judged right?
So we have already, well, we actually used AI and LLMs to write a bunch of them, but we developed a list of like 500 words that are not real, that are very challenging phonetic spellings with their definitions, with sentences, with all this stuff. So we did all that stuff. So
Is this like D&D language? Is that-
no, it would be like a word that we used, for example, was, that I used in a social media post was xyloquexy. And that is when two xylophonists are, in a like kind of back and forth musical number with one another in a call and response setting. So that's not a real word or a real definition, but you have to spell it. It's XLO. QUEXY, you know, and so it's words like that aren't real. You get up and it's just like the script spelling bee. You stand at a mic, you act nervous, you know, and but yeah, it's just for fun.
Country of origin, please.
Yeah, exactly. So
See a Dr. Seuss version of that.
yes, yeah, I mean, that's basically what we're talking about here. So we would love to have contestants.
I was thinking J.R.R. Tolkien or something.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Middle Earth.
Well,
Yeah,
Josh says he'll know all that stuff, right?
that's exactly right. Yeah, I could probably spell some of those words as well. So I think that's it for me. If you guys have any questions, now's the time to ask.
I would like to say that, I love your program. Growing up now, you don't really see as much as you used to. There used to be such a focal point on literacy, on reading comprehension, because that's the first step towards success, first step out of poverty. And, so personally, I appreciate what you do, because I see that a lot myself, and, I think that, growing up myself, on the downside of advantage, back then we had libraries. I'd walk from the projects down to the library and I read constantly, tons of books. And that gave me my outlet. And I think that a lot of people now, we have so much digital that we want to hear it, we can play it, but reading it, when you read something, it triggers the brain in a way that gets your imagination and everything flowing. So I commend what you guys do, really do, and I appreciate you. That stuff with the prisoners, never heard of it, didn't know you guys do it, and I think that's not only is an inspiration to help people become literate, but also to get out of jail. Because they're connected to their family, and that's what's important, you know, and I think, but I want to commend you on that. And I'll shut up because I'm very, very passionate sometimes.
Well, thank you.
I remember the program from its first incarnation, and it was difficult. You know, the books that you took in couldn't have staples, and there were a lot of restrictions. So that's great.
Yeah,
that you've
April
updated it.
would take staples out of books and then sew the binds together. It was
yeah.
very operationally intensive.
Right. I do have a question. Do you still offer the NCRC?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, so we offer work keys. And that is, we have several people who come in from, a lot of people come from Tennessee to get that. I don't know if it's just because Tennessee employers seek that out, or I think it also has to do with the fact that I think we're cheaper than most of the places you can get it in Tennessee. So
And we're in Kentucky, so we're better.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
UK, UT, you know, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, yeah, we are a certified NCRC exam location.
Any questions or comments from anybody that's joined online? No, we don't have too many. It just, Amy said she had to step away, but I think it still showed she was connected. Well, I mean, I think I could get in your ear, Josh, and say where I think there's a lot of, I don't want to say gaps, but where adult ed is confined by the state and federal regulations they have, the federal regulations, and then what the state adds onto it. That I don't want to say getting their leftovers, but like there's just, I've always felt, and I know this is different county to county, but in Warren County where it's more classroom driven and there's sizable classes of people, a lot of people are very intimidated by classrooms, and it conjures back memories of you just sit in the back, don't raise your hand, get nervous, but that one-on-one, adult ed's not really supposed to do that. Like they harp on them not to be that way, but if you go to most counties, that oftentimes in a lot of the rural counties, that's the best that they can maybe get at that time of the day. It depends on when people are available, but so many people need that. And then I could see, I thought of the word phonics, while you were talking, right? Phone literacy,
Yeah,
phonics and phonics.
yeah.
But like people being able to pay their bills. And navigating like the pancakes.
I
right?
actually did, I forgot to mention, one of the things that they did really specify in that visioning, yesterday was the idea that we should also be teaching people financial literacy. And so that will be a focus of ours
Yeah,
moving forward as well.
I know John and I've had discussions, it's been more related to limited English proficient individuals and employers, but so many HR spend so much time and effort getting the benefits enrollment stuff going and people not knowing that.
Mhm.
And then I don't know what the tax preparation stuff looks like, in Simpson County. I'm sure there's maybe some other service providers. I know in Warren County, we have a few, typically that time of the year of tax return time, but the financial literacy with that, and then, there's another word called health literacy, which is about being able to understand what's on your medication bottles and stuff, right, and what to take, so. I mean, literacy just it can be all encompassing and do all kinds of things. Yeah, yeah, the digital literacy, I think that is where when people come in and they just might need some one-on-one, but they don't need to get enrolled in a program. That's where adult ed is very limited.
A
They
lot
have
of
to-
people ask to, they'll say, well, what's the difference between what you do and what adult ed does? It's like, well, we provide a lot of the same services, but the analogy I use is like, adult ed is like the food stamps program. But we are the food pantry. Like food pantry still exists. There are still people who food stamps doesn't fill all of the need.
Especially now.
And so, yep. And so that's why I say, or, another one's like, we're adult ed without red tape, There's certain things that you guys are able to do that we could never do. We can never host the number of like large classes that you do. We couldn't offer the certification programs that you guys do, but yeah, I think, and my goal too, in the leadership of this organization really is figure out where we don't need to be doing the same thing that adult ed is doing and say, that's adult ed, we're doing adult education, sure, but like, this is us, this is them, let's partner together instead of being like, oh, we're gonna compete over high school,
Right.
GED students.
And the family literacy stuff is something that on paper they can do, but there's no incentives and
Mhm.
outcomes that really count
Yeah.
for them to get into that territory with kids and measuring like a father
Yeah.
child relationship or mother child relationship. And so that's wide open territory, I think, for you guys too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's hard because, the hard realities and the hard truth is that when you get a person sitting in front of you, you don't need to say, well, that's not us. You need to go here.
Mhm.
Because sometimes it takes someone a lot of courage just to come down there to admit, I can't read well. Or they'll say, I can't read good.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? And to
Oh,
be
yeah.
able to climb down off the ivory tower and get on somebody's level and say, hey, man, I'm here to help you. And I
Yeah,
want to help you succeed in it's not important as much as how we say things as that it's understood what we say. So we have to become that which are people who need us to connect, man.
Yeah.
I think that's very important.
Harry's our instructor and she has like a really, really cool, non-traditional high school background. You should talk to her about it. But she's very accomplished. I was talking to her one day, I was like, why do you do this? Cause like, you had much better jobs before this, And she said, man, when people walk through that door, she didn't say man, I said that. She said, when people walk through that door, nobody is making them be here. Nobody. They've decided that they want to like be better and they've decided that they need help to do that. She was like, I know when they walk through the door, I can help.
Yeah.
Like we can be there for them. And so that's why we do what we do.
So I have one more question, because we are workforce centered, and I know you said that becomes sort of maybe, you have to kind of weigh, but if somebody needed help filling out an application online.
We would consider that essential literacy.
Okay.
Yep, for sure. Where we really kind of draw the line, I've tried to explain this to Laura a little bit some too, because it's like, it is a very ambiguous thing. Where we sort of look at it is anything that makes a person a better general employee, we would say like, in general, that's probably essential literacy. If it's, hey, in general, when you are not going to show up to work, call in. That's like an American workplace culture thing, right? Teaching people that. When it comes to, this is the lockout tagout procedure for Tyson.
Right.
Well, that's the thing where it's like, this is making them a better Tyson employee. But for us, that's not probably something that we would, that would fall in our mission. Yep, great question, Brian.
But if you're helping them keep that job, that's great too. You know, I mean, you guys do a lot. I'm sure everybody appreciates it, man. I'm sure they do.
Mhm.
So it sounds like you may be open to trying to get into other spaces in the region too, then, right? Like. as far
Certainly,
as-
so we
Yeah.
actually are like the most pressing thing that's getting ready to happen is like so Courtney Stevens, if you know her with the library, she just stepped onto our board. And they have their mobile learning bus, and we were talking about it while I was trying to pitch to be on the board, and she was like, oh, we got this bus. I was like, we have this instructor. She was like, oh, great. So I think that we're gonna even do that where it's like Carrie will be here. So we've actually already set Carrie's schedule up, and she works from, like, she lives in Morgantown. So she's actually really excited anytime that she gets to work in Bowling Green, because it's a shorter commute for her. So we're definitely open to that, you know, open to the areas and stuff.
So maybe a literacy coach on call, Shannon, how about that?
You know,
Traveling
Literacy coach on call, yep.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, well, thank you, Josh. Let's give him a round of applause. Wish you had a bigger audience today.
That's no
I
problem.
know some people are on vacation this week, so maybe we'll chalk it up to that.
That's no problem. You guys, oh yeah, that's my contact information if you want to get in touch with me. That puts it directly into your phone if you're a QR person.
And are you getting Frank's emails? You've been on that list? Okay, yeah, so that's good. And anytime you have any, the spelling bee thing, make sure you get that to him too, if you haven't already, and any job opportunities. So we will not meet, I don't know why that says August 15th. I was looking at the wrong date, obviously. August 1st, I believe is when it is, but July 4th, we won't meet. It actually happens to be a day you can go shoot fireworks, so none of us, I don't think, will be working. Don't check your emails either, right? So turn them off. Enjoy the 4th, but so we won't have a meeting next month, but if anybody wants to present, and let us know, we've got some time to figure that out. And that's, if anybody has anything else, otherwise we're close it out. All right, thank you all. Thank you guys for joining online.
Thank you for presenting, sir.
You're very welcome.
Have a good day.